2 delegates right now. Voting members, I do note that, Nicholas, you are here as a Cabrillo alternate, but I would need to meet quorum first. Yeah, so before that, I just want to give everyone full transparency that we're going to wait a couple more minutes to see if anyone else slides through, and if not, I'm just going to keep it pushing. Thank you, and hope everyone is living their best life, as they should be. All right, I sent my final texts out to everybody right now. I think 1, 2, 3, so I need 2 more heads to slide through, and then before I could, get Nicholas in, all that jazz. So, let's see. Yeah, so with that being said, give me a couple more minutes. I will call this meeting in order approximately 3:06. Ruby.
No need to rush. I'm only taking out groceries.
Yeah, because I texted around to see if anyone's signing through. I don't think anyone is. I think I'm just gonna, keep pushing. VP Martinez, buddy, are you ready for the minutes?
Yes.
All right. Thank you, VP. I will be calling this meeting to order at 3:05 p.m. VP Martinez, whenever you're ready, may you take minutes, please, or roll call, please.
Director Andrade.
Present.
Vice Chair Orta.
Present.
Director Vakshylak.
Present.
Treasurer Orta.
Hey, I'm here.
Moving on to the delegates. Cabrillo College.
I'm here, yes.
Dianza College.
Here.
Evergreen Valley College.
Here.
Foothill College.
Delegate Nguyen is excused.
Yavalon College. Hartnell College. Mission College. Ohlone College. San Jose City College.
Present.
Moving back to the absences, Gavilan College, Hartnell College, Mission College, Ohlone College, Chair, you have 4 present, 4 absent, and 1 excused.
All right. Wait. Did you count Ohlone as one of them?
Yes, Ohlone. Absence.
Oh my God. Ohlone is inactive.
Oh, it is. My bad. Okay.
You're good. So, but I still don't meet quorum. You're good. So with 4 members present and 3 absent, 1 excused, quorum is not established. That being said, that doesn't mean we can't just catch you up on what legislative and, board of directors, all that jazz we've been doing. Give me 1 second. Great. All right. Since we don't have, wait, can you guys see my screen? Like thumbs up, speaking out for everyone, please.
Yes.
Thank you. I bet. So since we don't have quorum, we can adopt the agenda as presented or consent agenda. Public comment. VP, do I still need to entertain a public comment even though I don't meet quorum?
I don't believe so. Stephen, correct me if I'm wrong. I think you can skip over it.
Chair?
Recognize.
For the purposes of going through this meeting I would still entertain a public comment, because if you're still going to go through the motions and provide information to your delegates, I would still give a public comment.
All right, valid. Is there any individuals right now who would like to make a public comment? RAD 7 Greenwood, you are recognized.
Hello, Region 4. My name is Kamiko Greenwood. I'm the Regional Affairs Director for Region 7, and I have submitted 4 resolutions for your review. Alternative assessments, gift card resolution, equity and opportunities, as well as equal opportunities for leadership. And I hope that you'll all be able to review them. The resolutions are centered around equity and access and students' basic needs. Thank you for your time and consideration.
All right, groovy. Any other individuals who want to make a public comment at this juncture, please raise your hand. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to keep it pushing. Let's see. Icebreaker, since we don't have quorum, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go straight up the delegate roundtable. And for the delegate roundtable, right now, this is just sort of what you guys are going to do to sort of discuss, the issues that are going on in your campus, anything that you feel like the SSCCC should address, or just provide an update regarding, the training. Yeah. So I open the floor to sort of the delegates if you guys want to just pick off where you left off. That would be groovy. And if no one wants to say anything, it's all good. I can just keep it pushing.
Actually, if I may, this is Javi. May I wait?
You are recognized.
Yeah, just want to say thank you for having me and for the opportunity to be here. And I also want to remind you to please use inclusive language. And it's great to have you all and to be in your company.
Thank you, Delegate Vallejo, and appreciate the notion of that as well. Any other delegates who want to make any comment at this juncture? Strange. I bet. So I'm going to just do a little quick board of directors update then. Wait, is that a hand from a delegate? Or is that... Oh, Sophie Grace, you're a member of the public, so I moved on. So I'm not going to recognize you at this time. Let's see. Director Vakshylak, do you want to do a quick legislative update really quick before I give a board of directors update?
If possible, Chair, I'd prefer to have the legislative update after the board of directors update, if possible.
Yeah, groovy.
Thank you.
Let me pull up my Canva then. Beautiful. You guys can let's see. Present. Actually, let me drop this in the chat too, because I know a lot of you are you guys prefer your own visual one copy. Let's see. That beautiful. Present. Beautiful. So like I do every month when I do my board of directors update, we know that, and I think we've all sort of recognized that I do presentations because myself, I'm a little visual learner, as most of us are. And this is just sort of a fun way to just do board of directors update as opposed to, just doing it, reading through minutes per usual. Beautiful. So we actually did our board of directors training at San Jose City College, which is my campus, excuse me. Did at San Jose City College. I appreciate student, trustee, and delegate Vallejo for sliding through. They really were engaged and they really were active in discussion. I really do appreciate that. So this was just sort of a brief synopsis of our training regarding strategic planning. We've, carried on from, the last few months and make it into this one just to present to the delegate assembly an update regarding strategic planning. Then we did a create environment culture, which is just a way just for us to just be more inclusive and just be more mindful of, different backgrounds and such and how we can execute forward. SMART goals and review and prioritization. I'm going to put a pin in that because we're sort of going to do that for the regional summit next week. I should have showed you that already, but I did create sort of an agenda already to, based off what you guys had voted on. And one of them pertains to SMART goals and action plan creation and all that jazz. Developing key milestone, obviously just acknowledging, big milestones and sort of finding ways to get to there, sort of like an action plan. See. The next day, we had a board of directors meeting in Santa Clara. Usually how I always break it down, consent agenda reports, agenda items, and director's reports, per usual, like I always do. So first, for consent agenda, other than the minutes, there was nothing approved. There was nothing through consent agenda approved besides previous minutes, so that's why there's just that. Nothing signed, except for, the following directors. There were 3 additions to the board of directors. They were officially sworn in. So we went from 21 out of 26 to 24 out of 26, so that's beautiful. Numbers to have more representation throughout the regions. Love that for us in our journey. And then obviously we did reports. I usually 4 times. I usually, go more in depth reports. However, these more reports were sort of more general as far as like, hey, how are you? Like, we're back from the break. Everyone was taking a break. So I sure want to be mindful of that. Any questions so far? I think they're pretty self-explanatory though, before I move on to the agenda itself. Cool. Moving on, so this is the agenda. So the start of President Turbo sort of led a goal where we set discussions and set, goals for the semester and sort of how we're going to achieve that. The board ended up approving the 2021-2022 audit report. So the audit report usually goes through the audit committee prior to board of directors approval. So the SSCCC audit committee had already received the presentation, sent it to the board had officially approved it. And then as we all know, my little links, you click on them, it sends you to the link itself of the item. So, just want you to remind everyone of that. Then we did a second quarter budget performance. So pretty much the board was presented by Executive Director Adams, the budget performance of that. And then based off that, it was deemed that we sort of need a little bit more funding allocated towards staff and board travel. So the board had approved to increase the budget by 130,000 be split into staff and board travel and meeting. Then Higher Educational Coalition convening report. So this is the discussion where SSCCC went with our system partners, CCSA, which is the Cal State Association, and then UCSA, which is the UC version of the SSCCC. All three of the higher education sectors met up and sort of discussed priorities that sort of could be correlated through all three sectors. And then the board approved, the joint advocacy priorities. So if you click that, you will see the full presentation and the report based off that convening. And then the second quarter work plan update. The board was updated on the quarter work plan. Let's see, give me 1 second, please. My bad, my partner texted me. Here, I bet. So moving on from the second quarter work plan report, and then the second quarter resolution update, and then that's pretty much when Executive Director Adams, VP Dominguez, and VP Witten sort of. I see a hand. Who is that?
That's me, Chair Vakshylak.
Oh, do you have a question?
I wanted to talk about the resolutions, if possible, seeing as I presented the nullification of atrocities, if possible.
Oh, of course. So you're talking about item 6?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, if you want to do that, then that'd be great.
All right. Should I do that right now? Yeah.
Yeah. Go on.
Okay. So basically, I just want to explain why exactly the two resolutions were infeasible. Really quickly, the nullification of atrocities, I was actually assigned to work on this one and research it. Ultimately, I found that myself and another RAD found that the resolution wasn't quite clear and it was very general. And so it didn't really quite make sense to pass it through, as it would be very much up to interpretation and didn't have set definitions. And then the second one, the opportunity pluralism resolution, that would require a change to the Constitution, and the board ultimately saw that as infeasible. Additionally, I wanted to make a really quick note about resolution committee. There is no change. I know there was some talk about a change happening within the resolutions, the timeline or something to that effect. I want to inform the delegates that there is absolutely no change that occurred that was voted for by the resolutions committee. There was a debate last meeting. Yes.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm going to cut you off. You're sort of going off tangent a little bit.
Gotcha.
Sorry about that, but I do appreciate that little tidbit of information. So does any delegates or anyone have any questions regarding the first half of the board of directors meeting before I move on to the second half? I bet. Moving on to item 7, legislative VPLA presented the legislative update, which Director Vakshylak will present right after this. So I'm going to put a pin in that. The resolutions toolkit was presented. Pretty much, as we all know, sort of the resolution toolkit is one of the big ways that SSCCC sort of helps advocate SBAs to dictate change and to help assist in any type of iota that they needed. VP Dominguez had presented the resolution toolkit update, and then it'll be discussed more in depth in February. And then at that juncture, hopefully by then, if it's all ready, we will start disseminating these toolkits and start approving them for you delegates to start utilizing them to, for example, there is a couple proctoral systems resolution that was passed of eliminating proctoral, or let's see, the AB 2315 implementation regarding preferred names and genders being on documents that aren't official legalized documents, I want to say. And then a couple other resolutions I'm not really going to delve into, but if you click the link there, it sort of gives you a list there. Moving on to number 9, which is the Region 3 Basic Needs Listening Forum. So our sister region sort of had, they pretty much had created sort of a listening forum, if you will, which is just pretty much just a 5 different listening sessions, if you will, when it comes to their legislative priorities. They're going to do it in different parts of, their region and break it up. That's going to be throughout February. So the board had approved the Region 3 Basic Needs Listening Forum to be disseminated. So I will get in contact with both RAD 3 and LAD 3 to get that update to see if anyone wants to, slide through and intend to just sort of, because as we know, that is our sister neighbor. So that may not be something, that y'all might be interested in. Who knows? Number 10, General Assembly, VP Representative GA, which we all know what GA is. I'm not going to go into that. Number 11, BPLA, pretty much there was a presentation to be presented of the provisions regarding ex officio, or to add VPLA on all regional legislative affairs committees as ex officio member. And that was approved by the board as well. So now in regional internal committees, Vice President of Legislative Affairs will be required to sit on those as well. And number 12 is syllabus resolution sponsorship. So pretty much myself, VP RA Dominguez, Lad Vakshylak, and past President Campos had sort of created a resolution regarding sort of including different types of support services to be included in syllabuses and be more accessible. I'm not going to delve into that more because if and when someone does slide through, we'll touch base about that later. Any questions regarding that? I bet. And then finally, as we all know, like I said, Region 4 reports, click the links, you'll get mine and Director Vakshylak's reports that we were submitted to the Board of Directors. Our next February Board of Directors will be at Cypress College, which is in Orange County. Any questions about anything from this presentation? So speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, Ben, if there's any questions, just click that little email. You get my email. These presentations are usually utilized through SBA, so it's a quick rundown of what the SSCCC has done to your SBA, and it makes it quicker. So if you want to keep it, love it for you guys in your journey. Director Vakshylak, are you ready to present? Director Vakshylak.
Hello.
You're groovy.
So sorry, I'm having some technical issues. 1 second.
You're groovy. Take your time.
Already almost done. Sorry about this. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna share screen. Budget. Alrighty. Alright, you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So we're going to go to the legislative and budget update. I'm going to make this pretty somewhat brief, just because we did go over it in LAC and we did not meet quorum in Delegate Assembly, but I will make sure to hit on the important points. And if anyone has any questions, as always, feel free to contact me. It can be during this meeting, live question. It can be after, email me, anything at all. So in terms of recapping the legislative cycle and seeing what's next, there isn't too much that really is new. We're just really at LAC, at the State Legislative Affairs Committee. We are starting to really delve down and research upcoming bills and research into them. That's the biggest, newest thing that we're working on. Researching the bills, formulating stances, recommending stances and things of that nature. In addition, about my federal advocacy task force that I'm chairing, we unfortunately did not get to have a second meeting this month, but I will be sure to chair the meeting next month. So we'll definitely, and there are definitely new updates to federal advocacy issues as we'll discuss in this update later on. So we're just gonna go ahead and go down. So a couple of deadlines we should look at. February 17th, 2023 is the last day for bills to be introduced to the legislature. And in addition to that, March 30th is when they will recess for spring break and return it in the summer. So just a few things to keep in mind if we wanted to look at, advocating for the SSCCC to propose some legislation or things of that nature, yeah. And then so a few state updates. So few higher education bills have been introduced because of how early it is within the legislative year. Of the bills introduced, we can see like three main themes: bond reform, pathways to debt-free college, and affordable housing. Those have a lot of political will at the moment. And in addition, as I said previously, we're looking to take more stances on bills, and LAC is, by February BOD, we will have stance recommendations to put forth to BOD. And so four of our bills that have been returned from the Office of Legal Counsel, which basically means they have legal language, we're just looking for a congressional office to carry it and to be a sponsor of it. So that would be the student representation fee, which would separate SSCCC fee and the local SBA fee. Those students can decide whether they would want one of them or both of them or neither of them. In addition, that there would be permanent CSAC representation to ensure student voices are heard. The student trustee advisory vote, and in addition, Brown Act reform. And this is also in correlation to help with the upcoming bill that will very soon take into effect, AB 2449. And so we are looking at it and we are advocating for those bills. So that is something to keep in mind if you had a lot of worries about AB 2449. But yeah. However, it's important to say also that it's likely that we will have to still abide by 2449, and this will most likely take into effect for next year. But yeah. And then so the SAP reform bill, I already did go over in previous delegate assembly, so I'm just going to quickly go over it now. So SAP is basically the eligibility requirements to receive financial aid. So here we just the bill idea is to basically standardize and streamline the process of appeals, making sure that students know that they can appeal and how to appeal to ensure that they have access to financial aid. In addition to establishing a minimum standards related to SAP policies and appeals process. But yeah, and also do regular reports. So just streamlining and making the process a lot simpler. Next is the Youth Civic Engagement Day bill idea, which would make Election Day a holiday for public colleges and universities, including community college, in addition to creating a pilot program to establish polling places on colleges. And then thus research that pilot program and see if we can do more. So Congress did pass an omnibus bill with including 1.7 trillion in spending. So for higher education, it states that maximum Pell Grant increased, post-secondary success grants increased, federal TRIO programs increased, as well as the child care access means parents and schools. So we're seeing a lot of good increases with pretty good increases that will help our students, which is good to see. However, due to the makeup of Congress, we are unlikely to see much benefit in the upcoming year from the federal government, and we're not looking at a lot of help with the federal issues. So this goes to the federal advocacy updates. So in terms of student debt forgiveness, the two Supreme Court cases will likely be heard together in the upcoming month. In addition to, the U.S. Department of Education did put out new guidelines for income-driven repayment. So it's basically a way to get around the Supreme Court issue to try to make it easier based on income for the financial aid. Or sorry, debt forgiveness. And then a DACA update, we're still waiting on the on the upcoming Supreme Court case. However, it's not looking too great, seeing that its ruling on Title 42 did not benefit DACA. So we'll have to see how that turns out. Affirmative action, we still don't have a lot to work on. We just know that it will likely be ruled on by summer 2023. And then budget update. Review and revisions will occur around mid-May of this year. And so major points for higher education is the 8.13% cost of living adjustment. And this would allow easier access to financial aid. In addition to additional investments in community college enrollment, crisis response, workforce development, dual enrollment, and service-related units, and deferrals in housing and maintenance. In addition, you could also look at the joint budget analysis if you want really nitty-gritty analysis. And I think that would be it, because I think these ones are the same. Yeah. All right, so I will be taking any questions.
Thank you, Director Vakshylak. Is there any questions? I do see a hand. Treasure Orta, you recognize. Oh, and I mean quorum, period. But yes, Treasure Orta, you recognize.
Awesome, thanks. Director Vakshylak, could you go back to the slide with the crisis one?
Sorry, the crisis one? What was that?
I just barely, it was like one of the very last slides you presented. Maybe like 2 slides back. Oh, there you go. So I was curious, for additional, I saw the additional investments in community college enrollment, crisis response, workforce development, dual enrollment, and service-related units. I was wondering if you had any specific information related to the additional investments.
So as of this moment, I would have to look more to get a more in-depth analysis of exactly what that would mean in terms of the listed crisis response, workforce development, and so on. But I'll definitely get back to you after this meeting to let you know, because I wouldn't want to give incomplete information or false information. So I will make sure to clarify that and research that and get back to you on that. Thank you.
Excellent. That all sounds like good news.
Will this slideshow be available to look at for future use?
Yeah, it is, I believe, linked on the agenda, and I will send it in the chat. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Fabulous. Is there any questions or comments at this juncture for Director Vakshylak? All right, hearing and seeing none, thank you, Director Vakshylak. And if you have any questions, always defer to him. He, does legislative for fun, clearly. So now that I do have quorum, thank you for that, VP Martinez. I'm just going to go straight into the adoption of the agenda. At this juncture, is there any objections or discussions or any amendments that want to be presented to the floor at this time? Cool. Hearing and seeing none, so if there are no objections or discussions, the agenda is adopted through consensus, and by doing it through consensus, you are agreeing as a whole.
Oh, Chair?
Recognized.
Thank you. This is Treasurer Orta. I was looking through, and I also noticed in the minutes, there was some issue with the Thursday, January 12th minutes, where if you click on it...
I'm not on minutes yet. I'm on the adoption of the agenda, so let me adopt the agenda, and then you can talk about the consent agenda. Ruby?
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about...
No, we're good. We're on agenda. Thank you. So for adopting the agenda, is there any discussions or objections with adopting the agenda?
Yes, Chair.
Recognize Vice Chair Orta. Wait, by delegates. You're not a delegate, sorry. Is there any objections or discussions from delegates? Hearing and seeing none, Vice Chair Orta, you're recognized, but let's keep it brief, please.
Oh, no, I just wanted, before the consent agenda is approved, I just wanted to see about possibly adding an additional member to the appointments.
Oh, yeah. I will do that when I get there. You're good.
Cool.
But I will handle that.
Right on.
Let's see.
Because there's two.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, because every.
I'm still on the adoption of the agenda. Can I at least adopt the agenda first and then keep it pushing?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. Thank you. So once again, from delegates, is there any objections or discussions with adopting the agenda as presented? Cool beats. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to move on to consent agenda. Now, to assuage Vice Chair Orta's first, yes, Delegate Vallejo, as part as being on the delegate assembly, you are required to sit on the committee. So I usually go based off personal preference. I don't usually assign them. I do based off personal preference. So if there is one that whether that's you want to get into legislative advocacy, you want to be more into the finance, the communications aspect, or sort of the internal affairs of like the Region 4 student trustee or Delegate Vallejo, I want to hear from them if there's any specifically that they want to be on.
Yes, well, thank you for asking. Actually, I was just sort of texting with the Vice Chair, and I think there was mention about there being an opening for the Finance Committee. Seeing that I'm a business major, maybe I should just put that to work. And I'm considering the answers possibly yes. I need to make sure that I can physically do this, or I have other things I need to do. But we'll love to explore a little more. Let's leave that as an open, possibly. And I think...
oh, God, sorry.
Legislatively, I would love that one, but I think I'm going to try to target what I know best, which is numbers. So maybe I would consider that. Again, hoping that this will work out and I can actually do this. But feel free to please send me any information that you have, and I will be happy to weigh the options. And if able to, I will definitely take that on.
Cool. Thank you, Delegate Vallejo. So for confirming finance, right? You're groovy. Cool. Thank you. I will.
Yes.
I guess.
Actually, sorry. May I require that maybe you give me a little bit of info about all the others, and maybe I could just talk about which one might suit me better? Is that open to discussion?
Yeah, I'll do a quick little synopsis of each committee. So pretty much the Internal Affairs Committee does sort of the rules and training regarding the Region 4. The Legislative Affairs sort of deals with the legislative advocacy aspect of the region. Finance Committee sort of primarily does fundraisings and, touch bases with the budget. And the Communication deals with all communications from newsletters to social media posts, all that jazz. So that's sort of a quick synopsis of each one. How about this? I will let you think on this because I know that I think Treasure Orta had something to do with the minutes. So I'll let you ponder on this if that's cool with you, Delegate Vallejo. Cool. Treasure Orta, you had said something regarding the minutes. Did you still want to address that?
Yeah, if I could.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, awesome, thanks. If you click on the hyperlink that says Thursday, January 12th, 2023, and then if you scroll down to E, public comment, it says Richard Lewis provided a public comment to the Region 4 Delegate Assembly. And then Sophia Grace, also she had made a kind of a link, not a lengthy, but kind of a lengthy comment, but about her that she had recorded the last meeting because there was a miscommunication about that where people thought that I had recorded it. And so on the minutes showing here, it just says that she commented due to a situation surrounding Treasure Orta and a recording incident. which kind of doesn't, it sounds like, there's an incident. It just doesn't sound good. And I think Mrs. Grace left a public comment today earlier because she doesn't have any audio. I think that's right. Is that right, Mrs. Grace?
Please don't address the members of the public as you are not chair.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Okay. Yeah. So just if we could change that language there where it doesn't look like I did something wrong because Mrs. Grace recorded the meeting and it makes it sound not good. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
VP Martinez, do you want to comment on this since you were the one who took minutes last?
Sure. I apologize. That was not my intention. I just take minutes. I really don't come in here like knowing anything or what's going on. So, I don't have an interest in misusing anyone's words. I just do a quick little brief summary. To be honest, I'm just lazy when it comes to taking minutes. That was not my intention. But yeah, I don't take that into account when I take minutes. I just, quick little brief summary of, as you see, it's just one lines. But I guess it's up to the chair of the delegate assembly if they want to do something about that.
Cool, thank you. And I do know that Vice Chair Orta did hold on before I recognize you, Dr. Adams, I do know that Vice Chair Orta collected a written statement from Ms. Grace herself. So I do like to preface that is on record as that is the only public comment from all of the Region 4 meetings reported. Dr. Adams, you are recognized, and then Director Vakshylak, you are recognized, but if we can keep it pushing because I do want to get to resolutions.
Just quickly, thank you, Director Andrade. Just quickly, public comments are not detailed in the minutes, but I do suggest potentially rechanging that because I think Treasure Orta does have a valid concern that in historically pieces that could be interpreted that there was something negative against Treasure Orta. Maybe rephrase it to say the public. I didn't catch the name. Made a public comment regarding. Just say made a public comment, same as you did for Mr. Lewis. Not giving too much detail, but just saying that they made a public comment. That's sufficient for the minutes.
Thank you, Dr. Adams, for that. And Director Vakshylak, you're recognized, but keep it brief, please, if you may.
Thank you. I don't know if this would go quick to you, Chair, or someone else, but I just wanted to ask, so is it common occurrence or common practice to have a PDF link to a full paragraph, a full comment, a full document created by the public to put into the public comment section within the minutes? Is that common?
So thumbs up, Director Vakshylak, but is your question, is it common for us to sort of keep a folder regarding public comment and all that jazz?
Yeah, specifically a document detailing exactly their public comment. Is that a common occurrence?
I think Dr. Adams is going to answer that. So Dr. Adams, you are recognized.
No, that is not commentary unless the public gave a written comment during the meeting or preceding the meeting, then you would include it. But after the fact, it changes the context of what the delegates may or may not have heard. I would not recommend attaching anything, especially if it's written by the person who made the public comment, unless it's an official comment against an agenda item or such.
Groovy. Okay, I think we're getting a little off base here, but is there any other questions? Okay, first of all, Treasure Orta, do you have any other questions regarding the pending minutes?
That's it. I just wanted to make sure I'm not getting painted in a false
or
bad light.
You're groovy. All right, Beth, thank you for that. Moving back onto the internal committees, student or Delegate Vallejo, have you decided sort of which one you wanted to hop on? Which one was your jive?
I would love the opportunity to do finance, though I feel from what I've learned and what I witnessed thus far, I may be better utilized at the Internal Affairs Committee. That's new. It's not. I think we could do a few things that we definitely need to address.
I bet. Vice Orta, hop on that whenever you can. Groupie. Any other committee or assignments that want to be switched, or you're all groovy the way you are? Right. I bet. So hearing and seeing that, is there any objections with approving the consent agenda as is? And by approving the consent agenda as is, with no objection or discussions, you're agreeing as a whole. So the consent agenda is officially approved. All right, moving on. I'm just going to go straight into the resolution sponsorships. If there's any objections or discussion by delegates, if it's cool, I'm just going to jump to straight 3A. Hearing and seeing that, while I still have quorum, I'm just going to go straight to 3A. Let's see. So on the agenda, I will copy the link as well, so you guys all have access. So let's see. And I also created a cute little presentation because we know I do this always. So yeah, this is just a quick brief house rules, if you will, sort of. Let me always drop this in the chat as well. I don't know if y'all want that. I don't think so. So yeah, this is just going to be our little, not me putting General Assembly. Is Assembly. Anywho, that's what they said, General Assembly, not General Assembly. Okay, I'm meeting someone in, whatever. Okay, so just a little remind everyone of sort of what resolutions is, while the cameras are still rolling. I'm going to do this quickly. Pretty much they're one of the ways the primary avenues advocate and bring awareness to each issue. So any California community college student is allowed to read these resolutions and bring it to the SSCCC's General Assembly. And that pretty much, that General Assembly is when I'm not going to explain what General Assembly is, we all know what that is. So if it's passed at General Assembly, the resolutions are sort of the guide for the SSCCC to be implemented statewide. And then just to sort of add a little bit more context, other system partners sort of, we are officially recognized as the official voices of California community college students, which is 1.8 million students. So General Assembly is extremely important for individuals, to slide through and sort of, present what they want to present, because at the end of the day, all of our system partners recognize the General Assembly resolutions as sort of the key way, as sort of what the California community college student body as a whole wants for the next year, what we're going to work for, and all that jazz. So that's sort of why I added that little notion as well, like the California Community College Chancellor's Office, Academic Senate, Faculty Senate, all that jazz. So that's sort of where it's sort of important, not just for the SSCCC, but for other system partners as well, for us to really utilize this. So these are some house rules. So right now, previously advertised and all that jazz, and on the agenda, it says that I will be accepting submissions from the floor, just sort of as transparency. So I will allow sort of 15 seconds for resolutions to be submitted. During that time, I will ask for them to raise their hands. Once 15 seconds is up, I'm going to have those individuals sort of email me them so I can put on the supplemental documents so everyone in this meeting can have access to that before we continue on. Let's see. Each resolution speaker or speakers have 2 minutes to explain their respective resolutions, and after that, I will recognize individuals to ask questions or express comments. Full transparency. I have some of my co-authors here as well to speak on it. I will be only speaking on one of them as I am the sole author on that, so I just wanted to throw that out there as transparent purposes. Let's see. After all resolutions are done, because we do have more than 5, the delegates will be offered one last time to ask any other questions or comments regarding any of the resolutions. And then open discussion will occur, and then we will start entertaining motions to sponsor or not. And I do want to preface, just because we do have more than 5 doesn't mean we have to utilize all 5. if you as delegates sort of feel comfortable that you would rather have, less sort of, more options, or you don't pretty much fancy, or you don't like any of the resolutions on the table, or you just want a little bit more room for wiggle, we don't have to approve all 5, but we are maxed out at 5, and there have been more than 5 submissions right now, and that's not including the ones off the floor. And some resolutions are already sponsored, so in co-sponsors, or they're already sponsored by other student body associations, region SVA, or regional, delegate assemblies, board of directors, caucuses, however it was. So I would like that to be sort of disclosed to the delegates at this when it was come. Right now, is there any questions or sort of comments regarding this process, if you will? Or if not, I'm looking for thumbs up from delegates. Like, if this is groovy, like you understand this. All right, there's 1. All right, there's 2. Love that for us. Keep it pushing. I would love to see more thumbs ups from anyone. Cool. All right, I accept 2. All right. There's one more bet. So at this juncture, I'm going to go back to the supplemental drive. Okay, bet. And then if you click here, once again, I will drop another link in the chat so you guys may have access, all that jazz. Let's see. And then first, okay, disclaimer, now is the time, like I mentioned. Is there any, hold on, give me 1 second, Past President Campos. Is there any individuals at this time who want to present a resolution off the floor? Please raise your hand. And I will allow 15 seconds. I should have music on. All right, 15 seconds is up. So time has officially closed. Past President Campos, I assume that means you have a resolution that you would like to sponsor as well?
Well, first, you can just call me Angelica. That's totally fine. Secondly, actually, I want to remove one from consideration because I do realize you have a lot of resolutions here that might not have resolution sponsorship. So I just wanted to retract the student transit pass one if I was able. And just for full context, I do have sponsors on that one.
So is there any objections or discussion from delegates from removing that? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I'm going to officially remove, let's see, yours. Just delete it, period. All right, bet. And one of the rules I did say when presenting this is that, Director Greenwood isn't here. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to put a pin in hers then, because I did make it a rule that if you were to present you would have to be here, because if they had no co-authors or anything, that sole author had to be here to present. So I will try to get a hold of Director Greenwood to see if she can hop on. But at this juncture, I'm just going to utilize the other half, which is the bottom 4 of the individuals who, would like to present. So I'm going to start off with the community college reproductive health access. All right. VP Angelica, did you want me to just share my screen, or did you want to share yours?
It would be helpful if you could share your screen.
All right. Let me.
Thank you again, Director Andrade.
Of course. And then, like I said, full transparency, I think it was 2 minutes. Yes, 2 minutes. Okay. You have 2 minutes to explain, and then after this, I will allow questions or comments. Okay.
All right.
You have 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. So full disclosure, I do have 2 sponsors. Well, actually 1 sponsor, not 2. 1 sponsor, which was Region 10 today. But again, I am seeking more sponsorships from a wide array of backgrounds because, again, this resolution is very, very important. I think it should have a wide array of support from across the state. So really quickly, What this resolution was based off of was the Senate Bill 24 that was passed and signed by the governor that would provide UC and CSU systems the funding and the ability to provide medication abortion at health centers on not community college, but on their campuses. And why this is an issue for the CCC system is because within the CSU and the UC, about 400 students per month seek medication abortion services that are non-invasive and safe on or off their campuses, versus the community college system, which studies found have about 1,000 students a month, not a year, a month, seeking those services on or off their campus, which highlights to me a disparity for students that are most marginalized and underserved, especially students who might be student parents, part of the LGBTQ community, and other equity populations that, our state, our system, and our schools have identified. And essentially what I'm asking for is Student Senate to identify this as part of reproductive justice and health as an integral part of students' overall holistic well-being, and it would help them, succeed. So my resolves kind of read as the following: that the Student Senate makes the expansion of reproductive health services to include medication abortion for students within student health centers a legislative priority. And then secondly, that the Student Senate sponsor or co-sponsors bills similar to Senate Bill 24 from California that would provide the funding for community college campuses to have funding for staffing, equipment, and the training necessary to provide these integral and vital medication abortion services to all our students who request them. And then last two, that the Student Senate work toward increasing student
Angelica,
success.
time's up. Sorry.
Okay, you can see it on the screen though. So
Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Okay. At this time, is there any questions or comments from a delegate or from Region 4? Hold on. Before I address your question, Director Vakshylak, we're just off Region 5 delegate. It's just 5 for the delegate assembly, Vice Chair Orta. That means other members from Region 4 can either go to other SSCCC regions, delegate assemblies, which there's like 3 or 4 happening in the next week. They can go to any SVA or any caucus, because at this time the board of directors are not convening. So I hope that answered your question. Director Vakshylak, do you still have that question?
Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify. So would this be students would have access to students would have access to medicated abortion on their campus, as well as support abortion access outside of campus, or is it mainly focusing in within campus?
So, Chair, if I may answer?
Of course, yes.
Okay, so the main purpose is medication abortion, which is also known as the abortion pill, which could be offered in student health centers. So student health centers on our campuses already offer some form of reproductive services, such as, pregnancy testing, some OBGYN services. I know one school that has that, which was interesting to find out. And then additionally, it could include off-campus, resources. So providing, referrals or information to students who seek them if they're unable to get an appointment with their student health center. I hope that answered your question.
I had a follow-up if possible, Chair.
Yes, you may.
So you said referrals, just really quickly clarifying, that's referrals for specifically medicated, the abortion pill.
So when I mean referrals, I mean to outside clinics, such as, Planned Parenthood, other community, and I know I don't have specifics, but ideas would be Planned Parenthood, other clinics that support students, whether it's a referral. I don't know if the student health center can actively write like a referral. You take the piece of paper, and you go to, let's say, your hospital, but just they could provide you information on where else to access those services for low or free cost in the state or in the area of that community college.
Is there any other questions for the author? Cool. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to, Vice Chair Orta, you're recognized.
Yeah, thank you. I don't know if this is a silly question or not, but I was just wondering, how much does the pill typically cost, and is there typically a fund available for colleges to be able to access? I'm just trying to think about how, just thinking about how this would be funded.
Angelica, do you want to respond to that?
So this bill is just asking for essentially for that fund to be created. So I unfortunately don't have an answer to that at this current moment, other than this bill's asking for the funding. So asking to create that fund. And I'm sure a lot of health centers get stuff like Narcan. You know, I forgot what Narcan stands for. I think that's to help save someone from overdose. I know that's separate, but they do have funding. They get funding sometimes or grants to, help alleviate costs for, things even like Narcan. So I believe there's room to explore what kind of funding beyond what we're asking just from the state. So from grants, from, other sources, even from maybe funding from programs like I know there's a whole organization dedicated to the Plan C pill, which is the abortion pill that can get mailed to people. So there's just a wide, array of options and funding I think the state can look into once this becomes initiative that they start looking into. I hope that answers your question, Vice Chair.
May I follow up with another question?
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, I was just wondering if this is a concept that's been practiced at any of our other community college campuses in California, or an example of this in another state. I was just kind of wondering.
So I guess the only system we really have that I found in my research, I'm so sorry, I feel like I'm not answering it 100%, but in my research, the only real systems or examples we have are drawing from the CSU and UC system. But there are examples out there. I just really apologize for not having that on hand right now. Like specific examples of institutions or universities, but those systems were either, before the Senate bill was passed, already providing some service of it. But hopefully at GA, I can come back if this does get, this does come on the floor, I can come back with answers on that.
Cool. Is there any other questions for Angelica at this juncture? Cool. Hearing and seeing, I'm going to move on. Like I previously said, this is the one I solely wrote for. So for transparency purposes, and because, cameras are rolling and I'll only call in 4K, I'm going to pass the chairship over to Vice Chair Orta to lead this discussion regarding my resolution. So Vice Chair Orta, may I start?
Just one moment. Okay, whenever you're ready. Okay. Yes.
You gave me 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, when you're ready.
All right, thank you, Chair. All right, so I just wanted to touch base regarding this resolution, the guaranteeing the right of diversity, equity, inclusion, anti-racism, and accessibility into our 9+1 rights. So the SSCCC, continuously advocates regarding how they want to honor equity and diversity, and it's blatantly through their diversity, equity, and inclusion statement. And there's so many different ways that the SSCCC, advocates and promotes that DEIA. And then we know how under Title V, we sort of have the right to advocate for these types of conversations because we are warranted these 9+1 rights. So, just basically some top of my head curriculum change. I don't know why I'm sort of blanking on the rest right now. Sorry, I'm kind of just trying to wrap this through for time purposes. And then one of the SSCCC system partner, Academic Senate, had approved a resolution to incorporate the inclusion, diversity, equity, anti-racism, and accessibility, or they call it IDEA, into their Title V discussion. And then so pretty much it's going to, their objective is to work with the Chancellor's office to sort of, get that into their 10+1 rights, because Academic Senate has 10+1, we have 9+1. So this is sort of building off of that resolution and making sure that us as student leaders have the 9+ or the diversity, equity, inclusion in our 9+1 rights, because at the end of the day, we do not have that right explicitly written. So at the end of the day, I would like the resolve to sort of the SSCCC work in tandem with the Academic Senate and the California Community College Chancellor's Office to sort of create a strategy and a plan for us to sort of get that right into cementing, so we can go from 9+1 to 10+1. And I will pass it over back to Vice Chair Orta to defer questions to me. Thank you, Chair.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Andrade. Now, does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Robert about this resolution? Okay, there are no questions. Is there anybody who would like to comment on this resolution in Region 4? Lad, you're recognized.
I just wanted to make emphasis that to keep up professional titles throughout this official SSCCC meeting. Thank you.
Great. Are there any other comments about the resolution? Okay. Hearing and seeing none, well, we'll move on to the next resolution.
All right, thank you for that, Vice Chair Orta. I appreciate you doing that. Like I said, for transparency purposes, I wanted to just get that out of the way. Now, like I said, I'm sorry? Oh, sorry, I thought I heard someone spoke. So yeah, like I previously said, I'm a co-author. However, I'm going to allow Director Vakshylak be the one who speak on this solely, as I will not be speaking at all. Director Vakshylak, are you ready to present?
Is it 2 minutes?
Yes, it is 2 minutes.
Gotcha. Yeah, I am ready when you are.
All right, starting the timer now.
All right, just a moment. I need to pass the gavel back to RAD IV first.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was sort of implied.
Yeah.
I'm restarting the timer. Director Vakshylak, are you ready? Sorry about the interruption.
Yeah, it's okay. Sure. Okay, I can just go. Is you ready?
Yeah, you're groovy. Go.
Okay. So yeah, I made this resolution to basically focus on regional legislative priorities and to encourage more regions to take them up. Regions, as it says in the whereas regions are the collective voice of the local student SBAs and their bounties and act as a liaison between the local SBA and the board of directors. Additionally, one of my duties as a LAD is to facilitate communication with government representatives in the region, and to also uplift community college student concerns. And on top of this, legislative advocacy is one of the three pillars of the SSCCC. And we are to, within the Legislative Affairs Committee, we are to engage local regions in addition to understanding the concerns of the local region, of our regions. Therefore, in the resolve, I mentioned and last whereas is about how many SBAs and SSCCC regions don't have legislative priorities, regional and campus legislative priorities. So my resolve is to create a new duty for LADs Therefore, it be resolved that the newly would read oversee the creation of the regional legislative priorities within each region, and assist SBAs to form campus legislative priorities. And I really learned through forming lobby visits and scheduling lobby visits just how important regional legislative priorities are. They guide me in what bills that we should start looking for, what stances we should take on certain bills, what to really advocate for. And if students know the regional legislative priorities, they're more likely to get involved in the campus level. Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you. I have to cut you off. I'm sorry. I don't want to cut people off, but I do. Okay. Is there any questions or comments from Region 4, anyone? And I would like to keep it sort of pushing a little bit because I know that a few delegates have to leave soon. So is there any questions or comments for this resolution? All right, hearing and seeing none, I'm going to move on. Before I move on to the final one of the rules that I did instill into this was that the presenter had to be present to present on their resolutions. Director Greenwood, I unfortunately do not see her present. Let me check one more time. No. So unfortunately, and then I do know half of these resolutions were already sponsored by Region 10 already. So if there are no objections or discussions from delegates, I will be removing the top 4 from consideration at this time. So is there any objections or discussions with me removing Director Greenwood's resolutions? And by not objecting or discussion, you're agreeing as a whole. Hearing and seeing none, I'm going to just remove the others for consideration, just for time purposes. And if she slides through, then we'll skirt, Corvette back. But final one is syllabi inclusion. There are 3 of my co-write authors here. I will not the email. I will sort of pass the floor to one of the speakers. I think VP Dominguez, I think, is going to be the one to speak on this one.
Yeah, sure. I can if none of my co-authors want to chime in.
Groovy. All right, I'll just
Chair.
You're recognized.
If I may ask, would it be possible to split up the time between? Because I just had a really quick comments I wanted to say, but I wouldn't want to take from VP or Dominguez.
How about this, besties? How about this, friends? You guys both have 2 minutes for all of you guys. Just 2 minutes as a whole for you guys to divvy up however you guys want to divvy up. Cool. All right, bet. So 2 minutes starts on the clock now for whoever wants to.
Sure. So as we all know, as community college students, syllabi are one of our main points of contact main points of information that all of us as students go by. So we thought that just providing some context, including more information that would lead students to basic needs, resources, extended opportunities for our EOPS, DSPS students, campus health centers would be very beneficial for students in being able to actually access the resources that are available to them. And so that's a little bit of context, and I'll pass it over to Director Vakshylak.
Thank you so much. So I'm just going to quickly read out kind of the resolve. So it's to implement a more inclusive syllabus on local campuses to support service office hours, telephone numbers, contact information, and other support services, in addition to library hours, EOPS, campus health centers, anything that can help support students' journey through their academic journey. And lastly, would assist SBAs to provide more input regarding other services they would believe would be advantageous. And I just want to end by saying I am part of the burden-free instructional materials task force, the Chancellor's Office task force, and I have seen I've conversed with system partners like faculty and administrators, and it is generally a consensus that including these things in the syllabi is one way we can help offer help to students. So a lot of times students are not aware of all these opportunities for assistance. So I just wanted to re-fortify, so to speak, on how this is a practice idea, and this is a theory that is not only that we believe in, but also other groups such as faculty believe in. And I'll pass it to Angelica.
Time's actually up.
And I'm good not saying anything.
You are groovy. It is all good. All right. Is there any questions or discussions for any of the co-authors for the syllabi include? But one thing I do want to preface that wasn't it was clearly elicited on the document, but the SSCCC Board of Directors had already sponsored it. That's the one thing I do want to add already. Is there any questions or comments from Region 4? All right, bet. So since when I had did my rules, I had sort of did it under the notion that we had 8 and not 4. So with that being said, hold on. VP, I don't know who's on the line. VP Ari Dominguez or if like Edie Adams or someone can answer this. Should I just make each or entertain a motion for each one? Or should I think I'm just going to do that. Oh, wait, VP Ari Dominguez, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, I would recommend going motion by motion.
Thank you. I'm trying to see one more time if 1, 2, 3, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, still have quorum barely. Okay, bet. So with that being so, we can still take action. Love that for us. All right. I'm going to open the floor one more time for any discussions or conversations or questions at this time for any one of the 4. Okay, then I'm going to just start going one by one to see and then entertaining each motion, starting with the syllabi inclusion because it's just clicked. Right now, I am seeking a motion to either sponsor the syllabi inclusion for the 2023 General Assembly or to not sponsor the resolution. And I'm going to open the floor to delegates now.
I'll move the sponsor.
All right, it's been moved by Cabrillo. Is there seconds?
I second.
Thank you.
This was on
Sorry.
Cabrillo.
All right, bet. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any, VP Ari Dominguez, just thumbs up really quick. I can do with no objections, right? Cool. All right, if there are no objections or discussions from delegates, the syllabi inclusion will have another sponsorship to this. And with no objections or discussions, you are agreeing as a whole. Ready. All right, bet. Moving on to the regional legislative priorities or the local advocacy support resolution. At this time, I'm seeking a motion to either sponsor or to not sponsor the local advocacy support resolution. And the floor is open to delegates.
I move to sponsor.
All right, it's been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the local advocacy support to our 2023 General Assembly resolution. Is there any objections or discussions at this time? And by no objection or discussion, you're approving the consensus. Hearing and seeing none, local advocacy support has been approved through consensus to be stripped away. VP Martinez, your hand is up.
Could you call out the name of the college whenever they make a motion? I'm not too familiar with the colleges in this region, so I don't know who's speaking.
I apologize. Thank you for that. So Evergreen had made the motion and Mission College had seconded, I believe. If you guys want to thumbs up that, please. For a minute. So. All right, bet. So thank you both. Okay, thank you, VP Martinez, for that. Moving on to the guaranteeing the right of DEIA into 9+1 rights. At this time, is there a motion to either sponsor or to not sponsor this? And the floor is open to delegates.
I move to sponsor from Evergreen Valley College.
Thank you. It's been moved by Evergreen Valley College. Is there a second?
Mission College seconds.
Beautiful. It's been moved and seconded by Evergreen Admission. Is there any objections or discussions by they're sending this to GA for sponsors or for approval? And if there are no objections or discussions, you're agreeing as a whole. Hearing and seeing none, it's been approved through consensus. Thank you, everyone. All right, finally, the community college reproductive health access. At this time, is there a motion to either approve or to not approve the community college reproductive health access for sponsorship? All right, it's been moved by San Jose City College. Is there a second?
Evergreen Valley College seconds.
Thank you, Evergreen. Okay, it's been moved and seconded by San Jose and Evergreen. Is there any objections or discussions at this juncture? Hearing and seeing none, this resolution has been passed through consensus. Thank you, everyone, for this. I appreciate this. Now, honestly, because it's been a little bit longer, I know we're about to move. I'm just going to move straight to adjournment. Is there any objections or discussions by delegates for me just moving to adjournment?
None.
Hearing and seeing none. Hearing and seeing none by delegates, I am going to officially adjourn this meeting at 4:22 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for your time. I appreciate it. I appreciate all your help, and thank you. Bye, everyone. Have a great day. Appreciate you all and all that you do.